So in today's world, it has become like second nature to us to want to sugarcoat things that we think are bad and not really come to terms with it because it doesn't affect us really. It affects other people, so we don't think that we really don't need anything to do with it. Like, oh, it doesn't affect me, I don't really care. It shouldn't bother me at all. So just think about that. So over 4 million dogs and cats are killed every year in shelters due to overcrowding and the lack of food given to the animals. So that's just in America. So 4 million, just cats and dogs, doesn't matter. They're not taking into account all the other animals that are in the shelters, just cats and dogs. In American shelters, 4 million are being killed every year. So if you think about it, there's so many other places in the world that have shelters for more animals that are just dogs and cats. And they're killing numerous numbers in the other countries as well and all around the world. So it's crazy to think what that number would be if we really looked into it, with it just being 4 million in America. So I'm sure most of you at some point have had an animal that you love dearly, or been around an animal that family loved dearly, and they can't imagine what it'd be like if their animal were to run away and go into a shelter and they couldn't find it if it didn't have a collar on or it wasn't chipped or anything, and it ran away and got into the shelter, and then they never saw it again because maybe it was an old dog and they didn't have room for it and it was old, so they didn't think anybody would buy it anyway, so they just kill it. So I myself have adopted a dog before, and I think it's so rewarding because you not only save a life, but you make more room for other animals to come into the shelter to eventually maybe even be taken in by another family that, is looking to adopt an animal and give it a second chance. There's no question that animal adoption is very rewarding and a loving experience that saves lives and gives second chances. So people really need to adopt to help pet homelessness be eliminated. It's a big thing in America that we don't really realize because we think more of like people homelessness, but you see people that are homeless and they have dogs with them, and it's not really fair to those dogs because they didn't ask for that life and they want a better life. And people think going to the shelters, oh, they're going to be taken care of, but they're really not, and people really need to realize that. It needs to come to light that they're actually being not tortured, but they're not getting fed as much as they should, and they're just being killed out because they need more room. So a big problem is that people see sheltered animals as being like, there's too much baggage. They don't want to take in all that baggage that they came with from their old owners. But whenever you get a puppy or a kitten from a puppy mill or a breeder, they don't know anything. They don't know that where they sleep. They don't know about going outside to the bathroom. They don't know anything like that. So you're gonna have to teach the animals that are kittens and puppies and small animals that come in. You're gonna have to teach them too how to act in your house. But you're also gonna have to teach the adopted animals that too. So it's not really so much baggage. You're gonna have to teach whatever kind of animal you get how to act around you. We can eliminate this by adopting. Adopting is a good choice because it's cheaper, it saves lives, and it helps create more room inside of the shelter for the animals. You can also foster and volunteer at these animal shelters. Fostering is like pretty much fostering like a human. You can take them into your home and you can care for them, and you can show them what real love is and give them food and give them a place to stay and give them attention like they deserve and they need. And it can also, if you foster, you can maybe fall in love with that animal and adopt it for yourself. You can also volunteer, and by volunteering you can give them the attention they need also by going outside and playing with them and just helping them realize that they deserve a place. Educating society more on the responsibilities of owning an animal's good too, because lots of times they'll buy an animal thinking it's cute and they just like the cuteness factor of it. They don't think it's going to be a big responsibility, but it ends up being a big responsibility, and they don't want to take care of it anymore, so they give it to the shelters to make it their problem and not theirs, and they put it on the street, and it's not fair to them because they're just innocent animals and they're going to be either adopted or killed off, and more are killed than adopted. So adopting a pet is one of the most rewarding things you can do because it not only helps the pet and everybody, all the pets that are homeless by going into the shelter and maybe even getting a chance to be adopted too, but it can also bring light into your own life, and it can make you more happy and your family happy, and it can just, as a whole, just bring more light into almost everyone's lives. So.